The wind howled through the leaves, pulling them from the trees. The branches scratched at the front door and it rattled beneath them. She was scared and lost and had no idea where she was. If she dared to glance out the window, there was a full moon that was barely visible through the grasp of the clouds, but she still did not know where she was. The room smelt of damp and rotted wood and was bitterly cold, but even still she did not know where she was. She had gone to sleep in her own bed, in the house she shared with her family, but had awoken to this nightmare room. But was it a dream? Was it even a nightmare? It certainly didn't feel like one. She barely dared to move from the spot. Each time the door rattled, all rationality left and all that remained were fear and isolation. The room was completely empty apart from an old rotting desk. Had she been kidnapped? None of it made any sense. She was starting to calm now and decided it was time to find a way out, if there was one. The windows were boarded up and judging by the smell, nobody had been here for a very long time. But there was the desk. Maybe there was something that could help her inside of it. She slowly crept towards the desk, each step making the hairs on her neck rise that extra inch and her stomach twist one more notch. There was something about this place that put her on edge. It was that feeling of somebody watching you. The worst part were the noises coming from the room above. Footsteps, she thought. But she could never be sure. This place had a history, wherever it was. You could feel it around you in the walls. She'd made it. She reached into the drawer and found candles and matches. She couldn't help but think how convenient it was. But would they work? The room was so damp. She stood still and witnessed the room under the dim glow of the orange candlelight. Even in her confused state, she couldn't help but admire the beauty of the room. The decrepit room, rotting room, dead room, It was so beautiful. She couldn't fight the feeling of familiarity and utter calm. The fear had gone, only for a second. The light seemed to extinguish the emptiness of the room and fill the whole house with warmth and normality. It was gone again. She turned on the spot. The only noise were her feet shuffling on the rotten floor. She heard a muffled sound from upstairs. It made her instantly freeze with terror. She had noticed the door, but did she dare go any deeper into this rotting prison? Would it not be easier to pry the window open? Something here was willing her to go deeper and she wanted to succumb. She walked across the room feeling like she had no control over her legs, yet each step felt like lead that pulled her stomach deeper to the ground. She was at the door now, listening. She thought she heard some music coming from another room. This relaxed her. Music always relaxed her. What was that? A whisper from the corner of the room. She dropped the candle. She no longer felt relaxed. The room began to rot and die around her again. She was alone. She knew she was alone. But was she? That was definitely a whisper. And there it was again. She shut her eyes and really listened but could hear nothing. The room was bright and colourful and decorated in elegant pastel colours. She felt at home, and any fear that could have been left a long time ago. This was her home. Had she opened her eyes? What did it matter? This was her home, and there was a party down the hall. She ran to the door with excitement, ready to greet the guest, but something wasn't right. The room seemed to distort around her, and the life left. The door was stuck. She opened her eyes. The fear returned. She did not know where she was. The smell had returned. She could feel the place rotting around her, inside of her. What was going on? So many questions and no sign of answers. There was another thud from above and slowly the door creaked open. She didn't dare move an inch. The rattling was even louder now. She was in the entrance of the house looking out onto the vast gardens, and although she thought the fear would consume her, she admired the beauty of it all. The empty. The clouds separated for a moment and the moonlight highlighted a tree branch caught in the front door. The music returned and put her at ease. She dared to explore the house. There was rubble and dust everywhere. It was still dark, so she headed towards the music. As she was walking, the house seemed to change between something rotten and dead to elegant and regal in manner. She was no longer scared but did not like the feeling that remained. Someone was watching her. She had walked past a grand stone staircase with a rusting iron railing, and down a hall the music was growing louder. But it had changed. The melody had left it, and what was playing now filled her with dread. It was almost deafening now as she rounded the corner past a huge oak staircase that seemed to be travelling upwards forever. She'd found it. The room where the music was coming from. But the door was closed. Her legs felt like lead again, and each step was excruciating. Her heart felt like it might burst from her chest at any moment. How had she ended up here? She was at the door now, and the music continued regardless of any noises she made. Whoever was playing didn't know she was there. She pushed the door timidly and it gracefully swung open to reveal a piano. But the music had stopped. The piano was a wreck. The whole house was decrepit, and in that instant she realised she was trapped, stuck in this nightmare to rot and die just like the house she'd had dreams about and forgotten.